Hello everyone, welcome back to my video series on the life of an average Oxford mathematician. And this video I will go over the events of first year Hilary week 3. And yeah, basically just what happened to me. And yeah, it's been a bit of a rough week. Uh, Academically speaking, all the subjects, like the first 2 weeks, everything was quite calm. Like I think I talked about this in the last video. Most things were quite calm for the first 2 weeks, right? Most modules, and then just suddenly this week, just everything just suddenly got harder, right? Like analysis is beyond my understanding at this point, just out of nowhere. Linear algebra was really rough. Um, Dynamics is, dynamics is wow, yeah, uh, it was quite rough as well. But yeah, analysis is by far the worst. So, essentially, the difficulty of analysis that I find is that there's so much nuance that you have to keep track of. Like, what theorems apply to intervals instead of just any subset of real numbers? Are the intervals bounded? Are they closed? Are they open? Like, there's so many little nuances that you have to keep track of, and you should ideally understand why each of these nuances exist. Like, you should ideally be like, oh, the interval is closed because it wouldn't work on an open interval because reason what A, B, C, or just A, I don't know. But like, you should be able to identify why something is true to the like, and like be able to like every bit of the condition, every little part of the condition of a theorem. You should ideally understand why um, it's needed, why it's necessary, and it's pretty hard to do that when the conditions are so like I don't want to say insignificant, but like just it appears trivial, right? So yeah, that is the difficulty of the academic work, and next week is gonna be even harder because we're gonna have a whole lot of tutorials, so that's gonna be fun. Um, Other than work, the only thing that really happened this week was a volleyball tournament over the weekend from uh, yeah, it started Friday, and I basically just came back. I haven't even showered yet. Um, so if you've been keeping track of my series, then you would like if you watch my videos, then you would know that we lose a lot. Um, just yeah, we mostly just lose, and but after all the losses, I think you can also see that I've never really lost faith in the team, and yeah, that has changed over the weekend, I have to say. I genuinely believe we are a a really bad team, and this is not because of any of the players. Like individually speaking, my teammates. First of all, I really like them, and I think we're just a great like it's just great fun hangouts and like the silver lining of this weekend by far. This it was a disastrous tournament, but the silver lining by far is just like hanging out with the team, and that's just really fun, right? Like very interesting people and very fun to talk to. Uh, yeah, so it's not like this is not like a blame on the teammates at all. Like I think, and not just they're because they're nice, but also because they're really good. Like we have some really nice individual players. Um, and like individually on the court we're just like the talent difference is just we are just better than the other team. Like we are always better than, well, not always, but like we're usually better than the other team, like not by far, right? So the way all out of all the teams that we played, right, there's only three teams that are like in a league of its own, and that's Essex, UEL, and Bournemouth. And Bournemouth would be like, I think, in the middle, like not quite UEL and Essex, but these three teams are like we could perform at our best and we would still lose. We would put up a good fight, but we would still lose, right? Like that is how it is. But all the other teams are perfectly beatable, and if anything, we have better players in them, right? Like our setter is really good. Our setter and libero are just amazing, right? Like our setter, his setting skills. Our libero is just clean all around, right? Our setter, as is probably not the best setter out of all the teams that we've played with. Like compared to other setters that we played with, probably isn't like the best at when it comes to like setting. But what he does, like first of all, it's like his in-game experience, his ability to like block and like just like be at the net and like setter dumps, like at the most crucial moment, he will win us a point by dumping it, and like he will always win the balls that are close to the net, and his ability to like turn really shitty passes into something that's actually workable is just I guess miraculous sometimes, right? So yeah, great players. And then we are outside. One of our outside is Queensland starting middle, which you know sort of relevant work experience, I guess. It's middle, but it's still like a really good volleyball player. Our other outside is Italian, and not to be racist, but like he's just really good. He's great jump serve. Like honestly, all around really good player. Our opposite, who I personally think is our best player, used to play for Volleyball England and just has just amazing technique. Like imagine a back row opposite hitting and just absolutely killing it, right? Like that's him. And then me and the other middle, I would say are the weaker players of the team. But even then, like our blocks are on point. Our hits are there most of the times. We don't really get to hit because our passing is not the most amazing. So like, but the point is like we are a good team individually speaking. But the problem is, and I've now noticed that this video will probably be a rant, but I do think that I will be making some good points coming up. But the problem with volleyball is, like volleyball here for us is because no one really cares about volleyball in England. All the universities teams are actually just kind of sad. Like the level of like commitment and discipline in these uni teams, and this is not just Oxford, but like in uni teams, is worse than like my high school league. Like people cared more in my high school league, which is saying quite a lot because our high school leagues were also quite like relaxed and chill. Nobody really knew what was going on, right? But yeah, it's especially bad in Oxford because I don't know, some like at Oxford, you know, we do care about sports a lot here, but like it's basically just rowing, football, and rugby. Right, these are the big three. Everything else like gets barely any funding, and as a result, like we basically don't have a coach, right? Like we've been playing games without coaches, right? And without we've been going to training without coaches, and like the senior players, like our setter and our libero, like really try to organize trainings and like try to basically be our coach as well, and they do it as best of a job as they can, right? But the problem is they're players. They're not coaches. That's why like there's a reason why you need a coach, right? And they're just not able to completely fill in their shoe, right? They're not completely objective. They're in the court playing as well, right? So yeah, just the level of organization as well, like you can just see that like this is not a team that's going to do well because we don't like people barely show, like people basically show up to training if they want to, even if we only have like 3.5 hours of training a week. People show up if they want to, basically. There's no like, it's not mandatory or anything. People barely show up to away games. Away games is just us trying to scramble together a 6-man squad so that we don't forfeit, right? And it's basically a waste of time because we would have like liberos swinging outside, right? Like what's the point in that? What do the libero gain from like that experience? Barely anything, right? And yeah, so and as a result, it's like we don't train, we don't have proper training. Even when we do like show up to training, it's like it's just we don't know what to do. We're just running, like we're just like scrimmaging or nothing. We're not focusing any like skills, right? We're just doing what like just it's just not very efficient training, right? And so yeah, there's no like just there's no discipline, there's no organization. Like this doesn't directly relate to like our performances, but like so what happened was to go to this tournament, we were supposed to leave Oxford at 5 p.m. sharp on Friday, right? And then basically at 5:05 so first of all, to get to this tournament, we have to have 3 players rent cars and drive the team there. Like we needed 3 cars because there's 12 people, right? we don't have like a bus, we don't have like anything or anyone organizing this. This is just the senior students taking responsibility that I would argue really shouldn't be their responsibility in the first place. But yeah, they took responsibility. It would have worked, but then something like happened with age limits, and like one person basically couldn't get a car even though he used to be able to. But and then just at 5:05, it was like, oh, we need two people taking public transport instead. So yeah, me and another guy, we volunteered. And we took we took the train. We walked like across Oxford to go like from where we were supposed to meet to the train station. Start looking for tickets, bought ticket, and just like just not even short notice. It's just like no notice, basically, right? Like emergency train ride, essentially. And this doesn't, as I said, directly influence our performance, but it demonstrates the level of like lack of organization and discipline within the the club, the volleyball club. And this isn't like, I'm not blaming anyone for this. It's just the institution isn't there to really like enable us to fulfill our potential, essentially. And there's not much that one person could change at all for this. Like there's not much the whole team can do this. We like sat like after just a shitty performance, we sat down, we talked about it. We're like, what could we do to get better? And like not much, honestly. Like I guess we'll focus on certain skills in training, and that's basically all we can do. But we can't get we're not going to be able to find a coach. We're not going to be like, there's not much we can do in the next months. And the way the system works is that we're probably not going to be able to do much in more like 3 months, a season, a year, even like years. Like change will be very slow, if at all, right? So yeah. Long rant. It was like a 10-minute rant about volleyball, but yeah, that was mainly what happened this week. Just volleyball in England in general is just not it. Like it's not a sport that is considered important, right? Like the volleyball England. I was talking to the friend of mine, the teammate that was in volleyball England, right? Like they train once a month. Like that's their U17 national team. Like if that's the level of training of a national team, then obviously we can't expect too much. Is all I'm saying. Like from like institution and funding side of things. But yeah, I just didn't expect a university level sports team to be less organized than my high school sports team and have like less discipline and like training time, game like readiness. Just yeah. Well, yeah, I will end this video here. I need to shower and sleep. But yeah, long weekend. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please, again, as I said, like and subscribe if you and share with your friend if you think this content is useful and or enjoyable. And please leave any comments and suggestions. I'm a channel just starting out. I'm just starting out with this YouTube channel. I really don't know what I should be doing. So yeah. Summary: like and subscribe, and please comment any constructive criticism. Thank you. See you guys next week.